Warning: the Dub Talk podcast contains language and content that may not be suitable for younger audiences. Listener discretion is advised. There will also be spoilers for various anime throughout the course of this episode. Please use caution in case we discuss a series you haven't finished yet. Finally, the opinions expressed are those of the individual participants and may not reflect the Dub Talk podcast as a whole. Enjoy the show.
Rin, Pyo, To, Sha, Kai, Jin, Retsu, Sai, Sen! Evil spirits be gone! Except this bar of whiskey that's sitting right next to me, but I think I'll save you for after recording. Hello everyone, and welcome to the Dub Talk podcast, where we discuss the latest and greatest in anime. You have to excuse me, I was just trying to chase some spirits out of my room, because Halloween is upon us. And we decided to do something a little special for you tonight. Joining me are a couple of my fellow ghost hunters, Amon.
Ooh, you're going to be haunted by old media.
Oh, good God. And Steph.
Jamal, you better share some of that whiskey with me. Or I'm gonna have to summon some weirdly whack-ass gods from the local shrine on top of the hill to come and get your ass.
Alright, deal.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so tonight we'll be covering a very special anime, Mieruko-Chan. If you haven't heard this anime came out during the fall 2021 season, but its dub wasn't recorded until the following season in the winter by our friends at Soundkid Studios for Crunchyroll. Now, before I get to an interesting part about this dub, you probably want to know what the show is about, don't you?
I do.
That'd be nice.
Yes. Yes, here's a quick synopsis for you. Can you see them too? Ignore them and they won't hurt you. At least that's what Miko tells herself when she starts seeing ghosts. Goosebumps and hilarity ensues as she tries to hide her shrieks of terror. But can she keep this up as ghosts literally breathe down her neck?
She tries very, very hard.
So hard.
This poor girl. This poor fucking girl.
Yeah, so one of the interesting things about this dub is, like I said, it's recorded by our friends at Soundkid Studios, who also did an Arte, and the reason I bring that up is because this was recorded during the height of the pandemic, when work from home was a thing.
Yep.
I mean, it still is in certain day-to-day operations, but not as prevalent today. I wish they'd bring it back, though. Even though, COVID was a bitch, it was a very fun time for all of us listeners at home, because you get to see some of the most unique combinations possible and you get to have the most fun, especially if you're somebody like me who once watched the entire Jackbox streams of voice actors going a little crazy if you think about it. Jesus Christ, all the Carl Weezer impressions. My God, that's probably the most terrifying thing I've ever heard.
All I had to hear was the words Carl Weezer impressions, and then I'm just now imagining what... I've never seen the Jackbox streams, but I'm just imagining what the fuck could have happened.
Oh dear.
Oh no. More memes. Oh man, it's fine.
Yeah, I learned the hard way what putt-putt was, and it turns out it wasn't golf, but I would have some more to say about this show, but I think it's probably safe bet. We should just probably get right into it, don't we?
Yeah.
Let's get right into it with our ADR staff. First off, our ADR director is Amber Lee Connors, who's directed for other shows such as Actors, Songs Connection, Black Rock Shooter, and Hells. And she's assisted by a team of ADR directors. Alexis Tipton, who's directed A Couple of Cuckoos, Sunny Boy, and World End. Damon Mills, who's directed Full Dive. He's one of the assistants on the 2022 redub of Prince of Tennis. May God have mercy. And Stars Align.
Rest in peace, Howard Wang. Lay me in a bed of tennis balls.
Marissa Lenti, who's also directed on Adachi Shimamura, Gunbuster, and Kageki Shoujo. And our last ADR director is Mike Haimoto. I'm gonna be honest, people. I forgot to write down credits because I did all these at the last minute. I'm sorry. I should be better organized for an episode like this.
It's all good. Shit happens. Mm-hmm. You busted your ass the other day at work. Shit happens.
Our script writers for this is our main one is Jared Green, who's pretty much written every episode. He's also written for shows such as Appare Ranman, Decadence, and Ranking of Kings. He's being helped on episode 2 by Brian Clinkybeard, who's written for Alice and Soroku, Black Butler, and Fruits Basket. And episode 12 by Clint Bickham, who's written on such shows as Maria Holic, No Game, No Life, and Sara Zanmai. Just as an addendum, I had to go through the Blu-ray to make sure the credits were accurate. It might be slightly different on the website, and I know someone's going to correct me, so I will make sure to pin it in the comments below. Okay. That having been said, who wants to go first on this?
Oh, man. I will say this. I know we don't usually talk about... I'll go back to, directing and writing in a second. I want to kind of at least give kudos to the mixing team as well. Because if I'm remembering correctly, Mieruko-Chan was one of my W Award winners for sound mixing a couple of years ago. Because I have this affinity of picking, for my sound mixing winners, I have this affinity of, picking the supernatural horror shows that have, this extra, mixing work put in, especially for... any ghouls and ghosts and things like that, and lordy, there's a lot in this one. So kudos to the engineer team behind that. I think I pulled it up. Lindsay Roberts, Patrick Morphy, Sawyer Flederer, and Wyatt Baker, along with Natalie Van Sistine as the lead engineer on this. So yeah, kudos to you. But I had to make that known because Lord Almighty, the mixing on those ghostly goals is great. I love it. Directing and writing wise, it's I like the fact that you did bring up earlier on. Not only that this is a sound cadence dub, but the fact that this was recorded still kind of during. It kind of was recorded during the point where the return to normalcy was kind of slowly coming in a little bit. But you're still getting these dubs that are more out of the box than what you typically get with an in-house, with a studio keeping their stuff in-house. And Sound Cadence is no stranger, and Sound Cadence has always hit the mark when it comes to these kinds of dubs, and I think I think it's a well-rounded dub on the directing front, and the casting is so much fun. I do want to say, I think one of the higher points for me in this dub is definitely the writing, because while Mieruko-Chan has its very stupid gags and jokes that can sometimes be very sexist and kind of pervy, it still has its moments where it's very sweet and heartfelt, and some of the story, I'm not kidding, I legit cried during some of the stories throughout the course of the show, at least the first time. This is the second time that I've watched the show, but I remember the first time I cried during the story with Miko's dad. I cried during the grandma with dementia. I cried I actually ended up crying again over Zentono and his story. Like what primarily Jared did, but with Clint and Bonnie's help. What Jared did was kind of play that fine line between the absurd and the absurd and comedic, but also with the very deep and heartfelt moments as Miko is trying to understand not only how the hell she suddenly out of nowhere is able to see all these ghosts, but she's trying to start understand how who these ghosts kind of are, and I think it's some very interesting writing on that front.
Yeah, I can kind of agree. I remember I did have Mieruko-Chan as one of my nominees for Best Mixing, but for some reason I forgot that I put a different award. But I loved it just as equally as you did because, well, for one thing, having disembodied voices is a very difficult feat to pull off, especially in a show about ghosts. Yeah. And it kind of really brings another level, another dimension to this dub. Especially when we get to talk about certain people, because the last couple episodes, Jesus Christ, that was unnerving.
Yup.
Yeah. But I would say I do agree with Jared having to balance basically all these different elements, slice of life, supernatural, and trying to, I guess, stay faithful to the era this is written in. Because if Lenti has taught me one thing, is that you write for the time period that's given. Because some of the terms I've heard in this show might seem a little weird to me, especially when I hear that ghosts are popping in this high school. It's kind of a little niche thing, but it makes sense. It works for that. Although there were a little couple of blurbs I could do without. Mainly, there was at one moment Hana is asking Miko about getting some butt buns, which I know that's in the manga, but telling her about getting butt buns filled with cream kind of gives off a dirty vibe a little.
Yeah. Again,
I mean, not to be. I mean, I feel like that's the joke.
No, yeah, it's like I said, the script still had to kind of balance some of the kind of sexist, pervy elements of the show, and sometimes those elements. This is more on the show's fault. It's not necessarily the dub.
Oh, it is very much the show's fault.
It's very much the show's fault, and some of those moments are just like, come on, really.
That reminds me, I learned something fun about the mangaka when I was looking into this show.
Oh, do tell!
Well, I think this is his first major series of note. He's done some one-shots and stuff. Do you want to know what he was before he was doing his own thing?
Was he just assisted on a hentai or some shit?
Yes, he was.
Oh, no.
That explains a lot!
And I don't... The manga's not, by the standards of shonen fan service, it's not that bad, but it's I
see the progression.
Here's what I think it is. It's more Passion's fault on the animation side, because I read the manga too, and some of it didn't come off that bad. But when you watch the anime, it's there's certain things I do not want to be.
Because I haven't read the manga, and I am curious about reading it. So, so basically it seems like the manga had it more toned down, but the anime kind of escalated a couple things here and there. Does that sound accurate?
Yeah. Not a lot, but probably a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Huh.
If only because, in the manga, a gratuitous ass shot will be, a panel, and in the show, it's probably going to be a little longer than that. That kind of thing.
Episode 1. Miko, episode 1.
Yes, exactly.
Okay,
there are two words in the English vocabulary I do not want to use for that scene. So.
No! Jesus! Oh! Anyway.
Let's just ignore it and move on. but yeah, that's one. That's pretty much my main nitpick. There was a couple of nitpicks too. Mainly episode 5 because I remember I did cry a bit during that whole scene with the grandmother and the daughter and stuff. But okay, let's be honest. Did I feel like textbook dementia to anybody? Or?
Oh, what? Bro.
Oh, yeah. No, 100%.
Yeah.
Dude, you remember both, you remember at least 3 out of 4, like 4 or 6 of my grandparents had dementia, right? like half of my grandparents dealt with dementia. 100%. That's like watching that. It was fucking textbook Alzheimer's dementia. Like, holy fuck.
Okay, now you say that, it probably might have been more Alzheimer's than dementia, but it kind of frustrated me when all of a sudden, like, she got some of her memory back after Miko helps her open the safe.
Here's the thing when it comes to Alzheimer's and dementia. And this is coming from experience dealing primarily with my Nana. Because she had dementia and she passed away in, like, 2023. So there are moments where if a person, like, suddenly when it's like an eureka moment, or like they suddenly, like, everything suddenly clicks and then they're just perfectly fine. It can be a sudden, like, shift like that without meaning to. And it's not like it's a subtle shift. It's not a subtle shift for the people around that person. It's more like, oh, hi, it's good to see you. I haven't seen you in such a long time. Sit down. How are you? And it's like, whoa, where did that come from? No, that tends to happen a lot when it comes to people with dementia. So honestly, that depiction of the grandma was pretty spot on, to be honest with you.
It was. I had a different experience with dealing with my grandmother when she had dementia, and half of it definitely seemed accurate, but the other half did not to me, because I never experienced that point. And
gotcha.
Yeah,
whenever I know before my grandmother progressed to a point where she wasn't really there anymore, she would, very early on the onsets of the dementia, she would have those moments of clarity, and she would just start talking about, like, just like, how are you? How's everything up in Connecticut or wherever you were living? And then, like, maybe 20 minutes to 20, 30 minutes, maybe an hour later, she just kind of, like, goes back to zoning out. And she's like, oh, what's going on? I need to get home. It's like, no, you don't have a home anymore, Nana. We sold the house. You want us to sell the house. Oh, I did? Yeah. It can be, I guess the experience with dementia can differ between people, but my experience was pretty spot on with the comparison to the grandmother in the story that we got.
Anything else you want to add? Or?
I don't, but I don't know if Amon does.
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, the technical side, I thought this dub was really well done. Let's see, where to start. I thought the teen slang was very funny. I thought that worked very well.
Thanks, I hate it.
Yeah.
I'm assuming this is a Jared original because it's not in the Japanese, but I do like that when what's your name? When Hana gets her camera, she talks about how she's gonna be like next Annie Leibovitz, and it's like, what an erudite point of reference to this dumb valley girl. Yeah! That's nice.
That was good. That was good. Shake it like it owes me money.
Exactly. Yeah, we'll get to more of that later.
Oh, Hana, sweet summer child.
I know. No, I thought the comedy was really well done. Like, in my mind, like, this isn't not a horror show, but it's mostly a comedy show that uses horror as its framework. Yeah. And I thought the jokes were all really well done and paid off and localized really well. And I wasn't expecting there to be so much, like, sad parts, and I thought those were also handled pretty well. Like, the show does a good job of, like, going into that tone without having it be too abrupt. So I thought that was all handled very, very well.
Yeah.
Particularly, like, the last third where it briefly turns into, like, an actual horror anime for a few episodes.
Yeah.
when you think, oh, is the teacher actually? Wait, this guy came back. Is he actually murdering cats?
Like, is this actually what it is? And then it's like, he's not.
This is more overtly bleak than I was expecting for this show.
Yeah, Zentono. He didn't murder cats. He might have murdered a guy, though.
Oh God.
We don't.
That guy.
We don't know about that, but he might have murdered a guy.
I read in the manga, and this is about like the first 3 volumes, and I did think, it'd be really funny if it turns out that Zentono wasn't harming animals. He's just like a Dexter-style serial killer who like murders scumbags. Like, that'd be funny. I'd like that. That would be interesting.
Listen, that creeper is hurting cats. He can go fuck himself.
I do not feel bad at all.
I don't either. all I just see, because I completely forgot about that. All I see is the police putting up the missing person poster, and I'm like,
yeah,
Tono just killed a bitch.
Yeah, exactly. Like a lot of that I thought was really well done, and I'm gonna follow up on you. I do want to give a lot of kudos to the sound mixing.
Yes.
I particularly liked when the little the sort of gold outline ghosts who were falling around.
Yes.
Miko.
Oh yeah.
And, like
the spirits from the shrine.
Yeah, and I didn't listen to what they did in the Japanese, but I did really enjoy that for the English. Like, everyone's just backmasked.
Yeah.
Because that's always a very cool effect, because like it mimics human speech, but it's clearly not something you can understand by yourself. And I thought that was just a really neat way, especially because like if I really wanted to, I could like try and record that and reverse it in like Audacity or something and try and figure out what they're saying. So like I thought that was a neat trick of making it sound human, like something maybe comprehensible, but not in any kind of immediate way. I thought that was a neat trick. I don't know if they got that from the Japanese or that was like an English dub original, but I liked that. That was cool.
Yeah, it made it sound a bit more. It made it distinct from the actual like ghosts and spirits that Miko was seeing, but at the same time, it gave it this otherworldly presence, considering this whatever this is occupies this shrine. So it makes sense, and I enjoy that a lot, honestly.
I thought that was really cool. I really liked that once it started showing up.
Yeah. 2, 3 times.
Good old Kim Lintran.
Oh, actually, the other thing I wanna highlight, because when I got to the last episode, I was very confused about why they had that little like sponsors bumper at the beginning. It's like, why was this left in? They don't put like I thought, was it left in by mistake or something?
No, that was
planned. And I didn't think anything about it until the end of the episode.
And then we got the other bumper.
The punchline pays off.
Yep. I completely forgot about that too.
No. And I don't know who it was, but I do want to give credit to whoever is voicing that voice, because it is so like flat and robotic in a way that I actually
the sponsorship
really
voice.
well. Like,
I think, is that Amber?
Yeah,
I think that's Amber, but I'll check later on.
It sounds like Amber to me.
Amber, that was great. Like A+. Love it.
It sounds like very distinct. Like, yeah. I think it sounded to me like Amber Lee Connors. It could very well be. I could also be horribly wrong.
That does feel like a good place. Like if you're a director who acts, but you don't cast yourself in your own shows, that does feel like a good place to stick yourself in there.
Right.
Like short, it's to the point. You could probably recreate what you want pretty exactly. Yeah. Whoever it was, like, good job. I like that a lot. That was fun.
It was a fun touch. No, I completely forgot about the little sponsor bumper thing, and I was like, huh. Wait, I got tricked the second time. I'm like, oh, did they leave this in? And then because I did end up skipping, because I've been busy the past several days. I ended up skipping like opening, ending theme, the next episode preview credits. But I would at least make sure I go to any like after like end credit stuff,
right?
Like post credits, and I got to that sponsorship thing and it did it again. I'm like, right. Because the show is very interesting how it sets some of its scenarios up, where it's like there are some episodes where in the beginning it kind of goes through a little bit of what happens, and then but you don't necessarily see entirely what's going on, and then at the end post credits you get the redo of the scene, but this time you get to actually see what Miko sees. Like the bakery is an example.
Yeah.
Whatever that freaking TV show that they watch.
No, that was a glamour commercial.
Well, it started with TV show. It started with the TV show because in addition to that quote unquote possibly edited face in the tent, there was an actual spirit on the TV screen before it cut into the tent, and Miko's like, "Fuck." So it has some of those moments, and it makes for a very fun and interesting take, because it's like, what is this girl seeing? You don't know what she's seeing, and then it comes back full circle, and you see it again. And it's like, oh, that explains a lot.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty neat touch. Scared me the first time I saw that. So, alright, we good to move on?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so I think it's safe to assume we have a pretty small cast lined up here, so I think we could probably just do everybody at once, and maybe I'll start first time on some things.
Yay.
Alright, so it's pretty interesting and diverse here, because first, pretty much, like I said, we're going right off everybody, but we're going to take them a few at a time. We have the Yatsuya family. This is an interesting dynamic. We have the father, Mamoru, who, spoiler, we don't find out until about episode 3 that he's a ghost that's just haunting around the old house, making sure his daughter Miko's safe from any danger or anything.
It's kind of one of the sweeter stories when you find out.
It very much is. Well, we don't know what happened to him one day. All I know is there was an argument that involved chestnut pudding. So I'm not gonna make the joke he went out for milk and cigarettes. That's just too mean.
Oh no.
Woof. But he is a sweet and gentle soul, even when he argues with a ghost over chestnut pudding.
That was good. No, she left that for me. Meanwhile, the ghost, pudding.
Yeah.
She left that for me.
Yeah, and
What a
then
guy.
yeah, and then we have the mother Toko Yatsuya. I think pretty much she's just a homemaker at this point. She takes care of the family. And gets them up out of bed. No, doesn't get up out of bed. That makes them breakfast every day. You know, she's just doing the motherly thing. There's not really much to her other than how she looks. But I think she's also pretty gentle sort of family. And then you have the little boy Kyosuke, who's a bit awkward and a bit annoying. And believe me, I know, because I'm the little boy in my family, so I know a thing or two about little brothers. At the one point, he becomes convinced that his sister might have a boyfriend, son, to the point he tells her to the library.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
And there was a moment incident because he didn't remember which book she was reading, and because he's short, he thought it was a different book on the lower level, which was 99 Ways to Please Your Lover, and Jesus Christ.
What's a hickey, guys?
Oh.
Immediately opens the page up to the hickey section. Okay.
Yeah, you should see how he checked out for hickeys later on in that episode.
Oh, Christ. Okay.
And that's also in the manga too, unfortunately.
Oh, great. Love that for us.
Oh boy, it takes a lot out of you. And speaking of taking a lot out of you, we have Mitsue Takeda. Known as the godmother, or in the manga, the godmother of downtown. It's was introduced as a con artist, but we found out she's an actual medium in real time. Investigated ghost sightings after she encounters Miko. To the point she might have reached her limit and decided to retire and live with her son and daughter-in-law. Only to jump back in at the end of the show when she finds a picture that Hana took of the two. Faces were blurred out, but you could still tell it was them. And there was something slightly disturbing about that picture, but that's a slight manga spoiler. So, and then we have this guy, Zentono.
Oh boy, the man who does not murder cats, but might have murdered a bitch.
Yes, but Yeah, trauma only leads to more trauma, people. We found out he was not only denied cats a few times, he had a rather rough upbringing in the beginning.
Oh, his mother is a piece of fucking work.
Yep, probably the most unnerving thing about this entire show. To the point she possesses him even after she's dead.
Yep.
Which, we're not talking about her, but goddamn, Morgan Le Ray, you scared the fuck out of me.
Dude. Morgan Le Ray was fucking terrifying.
I haven't seen anything that terrifying since Gleipnir. Holy shit. Actually, I think Gleipnir was more terrifying than that. Jesus Christ.
I would say Mieruko-Chan is more unsettling. Not necessarily terrifying, but more unsettling.
Yeah, more unsettling, but I think she was more obsessive in Gleipnir than in here, to be honest. But tomatoes.
Not wrong. I'm just saying, like, here he's a bit more unsettling.
And then we have our main three. Started with Yulia Nigredo. Yeah.
Yulia.
Aspires to be a spirit medium because she can see tiny ghosts as well. Only because she doesn't know later on that she's pretty much out of her league compared to Miko, who does not want to see ghosts. We'll do anything to get her to convince her of her powers, only to find out the real truth and vows to keep Miko's secret a secret at the end. And then we have Hana Yorikawa.
I have a high metabolism, guys.
Yeah, compulsive feeder is obsessed with a puppet called the Lambda Rabbit. Quite spunky and quite clueless at times. I mean, girl's so hungry, she eats lunch after lunch.
And apparently also has such a high spiritual aura that she attracts ghosts.
Attracts ghosts, and if you touch her aura, you get burned.
Can I just say, we kind of get a partial episode where we follow Hana, and she ends up rescuing this dog in this haunted abandoned building, and there's a big ghost that's just been attached to her. I just find it hilarious. The big one is just like grabbing the little itty bitty ones, holding it up to her aura. They burned her crisp, like they're being like slow cooked over a nice warm crispy campfire, and they just eat it. It's great.
And then we have
good times.
Good times. Yeah, then we have the Mieruko-Chan herself, Miko Yatsuya, has a unnatural gift for seeing ghosts out of the blue all of a sudden. Turns out there was no return policy on that, but she tries to deal with it by ignoring them. Only to realize there's more to it than she thinks, and girl really puts on a brave face. Because, man, if you have to see ghosts everywhere and you're just trying to live your life, more power to you, Jesus Christ.
She's just trying to do her best.
Not only for herself, but her friend Hana too, because, I mean, with the high aura, I mean, you want to protect your friend from anything and everything that comes at her. Oh man, that classroom scene where she had to fake being dizzy, Jesus, man.
Whoops.
Only for that ghost to latch on to the nurse later on.
Yup.
And I heard an Animaniacs reference in that episode too, but it was obvious.
Hello, nurse.
Nice.
Hello, nurse.
Yep.
Alright, so we're playing these actors. Mamoru is played by Michael Sorg, who you've heard as Ubertino in Arte, Dimple in Mob Psycho 100, and Tenshin Otsui in Tribe 9. Toko is played by Elizabeth Maxwell, who you've heard as Ymir in Attack on Titan, Arisa Utani in Fruits Basket 2019, and Midnight in My Hero Academia. Kyosuke is played by Susie Young, who you've heard as Jing Shaoyan in Opere Ranman. Subaru and Gleipnir, speaking of Gleipnir. And she was just recently announced to be Girl Ranma in Ranma 1/2. Emphasis on girl adjective. Mitsui Takeda is voiced by Wendy Powell, who you've heard as Envy in Fullmetal Alchemist. Irma and Birdie the Mighty Decode, and Madonna in BTX. Santono is played by David Matrango, who you've heard as Butthole Hoover in Attack on Titan. Reisua in Buddy Daddies, and because this episode just dropped, Minoi Kawa in Kanan.
Kanan. Oh, God.
Kanan.
This poor sap.
Kanan.
This poor fucking sap. Oh, can I also throw in an extra one because I find it kind of funny and relevant?
Yeah.
He's Shoto Todoroki in My Hero Academia. The reason why I'm bringing that up. Jason LeBrecq voices the motherfucker who actually ended up killing cats and goes missing.
Oh, no.
Yup.
No.
Yup. Yup. I was like, oh, this is hilarious. This is great. I'm pretty sure that's Jason LeBrecq who voices that fucking guy. Oh, my cat! My cat is jumping all over. Shit.
Oh, if it is, this will be the Patreon clip of the week.
Hold on, I gotta know. It's either gonna be under Jason LeBrecq or necessary Jason LeBrecq.
And
I don't see it, but I'm pretty fucking positive it's him.
Anyway, Yulia is voiced by Lindsay Shepard, who you've heard as Kusuri Yakusen in The 100 Girlfriends Who Really, 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 Really Love You. Erika Amano in A Couple of Cuckoos, and Sayaka Koyanagi in Gleipnir. Hana is voiced by Sarah Wiederhoff, who you've heard as Non Toyoguchi in Keijo. Sana and Alice in Soroku, and what's a good one? No, not that show. Fuck that show. Suika, Dr. Stone.
Not that show. Fuck that show. Do I want to know?
Classroom of the Elite.
I haven't watched Classroom of the Elite, so I have no context or leg to stand on there.
Look, all I can say is it gave me Danganronpa vibes without the Danganronpa feeling.
Okay.
And yeah, and Miko is voiced by Alexis Tipton. You've heard as Kaguya and Kaguya-sama Love is War. Let's see what else. Saya Kisaragi in Blood Sea, and because this is me, Kurumi Tokisaki, aka Nightmare from Data Life.
Oh. Still haven't watched Data Live, and there's 6 seasons of that show now?
5 and a few OVAs. But who's counting? Anyway, let's start with the family first.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I think it's safe to say, as much as we like Elizabeth Maxwell, there's not really much to speak about on her.
No.
Do we agree on that?
No, yeah. I mean, I do like Elizabeth a lot. She's a fun, cute, sweet mom. Mom doesn't do a ton though either, so it's
Nope.
She's kind of there. Mom's there.
Mom's there to get a gift bought for in one episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which she otherwise does not appear in, I don't think.
Episode 3, she did make breakfast. To which one the ghost licked Miko's breakfast, and yeah.
Meanwhile, Dad's watching this all unfold, and I don't think Dad realizes that she can see him. Whoops.
I think that's kind of, I'm gonna be honest, I think that was kind of a bit of foreshadowing, because if you look at the family, you notice how he's a slightly different color than the rest of them. On top of that, he shows up out of nowhere at the beginning of episode 3 as Miko is heading to get on the bus.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because you don't, because I think in the first episode you only have Kyosuke and maybe the mom a little bit.
I mean, you do. They all have idle conversation, but they don't talk to each other.
Right.
Also, I'm gonna let you know, when I first checked out the series, I got accidentally spoiled on it because for some reason that spoiler popped up in my algorithm.
I didn't know about the dad. I had no clue. And then I found out. I'm like, oh no, Dad. Poor Dad.
Poor Dad.
Dad's just
Poor Dad.
doing his best.
He's trying.
He's still trying to do his best, keep an eye on his kids.
Yeah. And then there's Susie Young. Jesus Christ.
I think this is probably the second time I've heard her as a little boy character. I think the first time being Gleipnir. Maybe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Unless there's another little boy character I don't remember. That's always a possibility. But as far as I can recall anyway, I think this is the second time she's voiced a little boy character. I mean, Kyosuke, even though out of the three of them, Kyosuke does do the most, but at the same time, Kyosuke is just kind of there.
In more ways than one, too, because, Jesus Christ, I know if your sister talks in your sleep, but that is no reason for you to just peek over her as she wakes up. That's...
You make some weird noises when you sleep.
And then there's his wardrobe choice, which it always ends up with some word and some animal on it.
I'm gonna be honest, that might be one of the most true-to-life things they put in here. It's like, yeah, you're like, what, 10, 12? Yeah, that's exactly what you want to wear all the time.
Yup. Because I don't think they explicitly say it, but he's probably like an older elementary school kid, I think, right? Like, he's not in middle school quite yet.
Yeah, that's my assumption.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's still kind of little.
Yeah.
No, I did enjoy Susie as Kyosuke. Kyosuke just, weirdly enough, just exists to me.
Yeah. I mean, one minute he's there, then the next he's over there, and then it's like, what? You just telling your sister, and then it came the bath scene, and I'm like, oh boy.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, remember when we mentioned
And then,
when Jamal said the words, he tried to see if Miko had hickeys in one of the more not so great ways. Ta-da! Bath time with my sister. Yup.
new anime production 2025.
Oh god, no. Jesus Christ. I hate that. Thanks, I hate it.
I'm joking. Relax.
Thanks, I hate it. No, that's a line from the show. Thanks, I hate it.
So,
No.
anyway.
I liked Susie. I do.
Yeah. Yeah, she's good. She's great. The family's great. Yeah. You know, they just pretty much offer emotional support to Miko at this point, but, you know, it's a nice dynamic.
Personally, I think the family member who stands out the most between the three of them is actually Michael Sorek.
Yes, stands out in the way you wouldn't expect. So
Yeah, because I'm used to Michael Sorek being more cutting or sarcastic characters, not sweet dear old ghosty dad.
Well, it's just like
he has this fun little charm to him, and I love it.
Yeah, it's as I said in the Pompo the Cinephile episode. Michael Sorg is pretty much has been and probably always will be the voice of your childhood, whether you know it or not, because he has an unusual dynamic that kind of way. I mean, I found out he was Pseudomon in Digimon Adventure back in the day. Nah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Like I said, the family members have their own dynamic, and it's very neat, and it's just comforting in a way.
Yeah.
So, Amon, what are your thoughts on the family members?
Elizabeth is nice, but the mom doesn't get to do much. Michael is endearingly warm as the father. Does he actually show up outside of episode 3?
Yes, he does. He shows up a couple of times.
Okay, he does a good job of communicating what exactly this dude is like without too much dialogue, which is always a plus. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I really liked Kyosuke's interactions with Miko. They're just they play off each other very well. They sound like actual siblings.
Yeah,
which I always appreciate in a show like this, especially him just like mildly misinterpreting what she's talking about, either because she is trying to obfuscate what she's talking about or just lying to him, which is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, they come across as like actual siblings, which I think is a good trick for a show like this. So
Yeah.
that's good. I like that. Good stuff.
Yeah. Oh, well, man. This next section, though.
Oh boy. Can we get Wendy Powell out of the way first? I feel like there's more to talk about with Zentono, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
There's a lot with Zentono. I love when Wendy Powell gets to do things, because there was always that long period where she didn't really pop up too much, and now I think it kind of started right as the pandemic was coming into like full force. We've seen her pop up more and more in things, and it's been it's always a delight to hear Wendy pop up in more shows. this freaking scam artist of a fortune teller. Oh my god, it's so fun. It's kind of hilarious seeing her try and attempt to scam these kids, but then it's like Miko breaks all of the prayer beads, and it's like, I have met someone who's more powerful than me. I must go. I must leave. My people need me. I gotta hone my skills, and goes immediately to the country to live with her son, and starts farming. She's just done. I'm like, I have seen enough. I must leave.
Yeah, I think that was just a surprising part, because, I thought she was just a con artist. I mean, I know she was going to be important somehow because she shows up in the end credits, but I didn't think I'd get to that point. So on this, so I made this outline for the episode, and I tried to be a little quirky with the titles a bit.
Oh,
There's
Jesus.
a reason I call this section Ghosted. Have any of you ever seen the movie Ghost?
No, actually.
What, the Patrick Swayze movie?
Yeah, so in that, there was also a medium who was a bit of a con artist, and then she got a shock of her life one day when she came across somebody who was just more powerful than her.
Is that question? Is that Whoopi Goldberg's character?
Yeah.
Okay, I only know like very little about that movie because I've never seen that movie. And I'm like, Whoopi Goldberg's in it, isn't she?
I mean, look, I know very little about the movie too, but a lot of what I know is just through osmosis. But I
don't even have that, man.
Don't worry, at least you know somebody now who's probably seen the movie. Amon, you seen it, right?
No.
Shit.
Now the analogy has been lost on the entire conversation.
I should point out, I've heard Ghost is very good, but it's not a horror movie. It's a romance that happens to be true in dead person.
I know that. I know it mainly has romance aspects,
and confusingly directed by one of the airplane guys, which makes no sense at all. But here we are.
So this is not Amon's brand of bullshit.
I am broadly familiar with the movie. I know what he's talking about, because I know a decent part of the movie is Patrick Swayze as a ghost trying to indicate to Demi Moore that he is still around through Whoopi Goldberg, because she can actually communicate with him. So I know what he's talking about.
Oh, that's what happens in the movie?
Yeah, basically.
Like I said, I never seen it, but I do know that is a part of the movie, him using Whoopi Goldberg as a way to communicate with people who are still living.
Good to know. Oh, man.
Where the hell did this shit come from?
What?
No, I just saw random shit on my bed.
I think we're all fucking tired. Oh, no.
Yes, but speaking of tired, Wendy Powell is midway. I thought there might be more if like season 2 gets produced, which I doubt. But in the manga, there seems to be a little more to it. I haven't read more into it because I'm just keeping to what we have here in front of us, right here, right now.
Because based on the show alone, like once Takeda goes into the country and lives with her son, we really only see like the occasional glimpse of her just living a normal life every like once in a while. But that's about it.
You have anything you want to add on mine? Or?
Good old lady.
I
Come, like that's good old lady.
I love Wendy
Like
Powell.
exactly what the exact role you hire Wendy Powell for. Good job.
I love Wendy Powell. She's so fun.
Yeah, but you know who needs more love though?
Oh Christ! Oh, this man, this fucking
Woof.
man.
When we said at the beginning that his episodes were kind of unnerving, let me explain to you how unnerving it was. When you have a controlling and possessive mother who demands you get a perfect score on your tests and won't let you hang out with your friends, and then finds you've been hiding a cat and probably most likely murdered it out of spite, your heart starts to drop a bit.
I'm gonna make a slight correction. Controlling and possessive, bro. That's just abuse at that point.
Yeah, basically.
That mother is emotionally and mentally abusive. I hate this woman. God. I weirdly enough, David's performance as Zentono is summed up by, I think, a line that Hana says, I think in the final episode, where he gives off these serial killer vibes. Because that's the tone of voice that David fucking goes with for Zentono. It's very soft-spoken and quiet, but it's also... because
Why
of
won't you give me the cat?
Yeah, the vibe that you get, it has this weird, unsettling nature to it. And that's where, so the serial killer comparison that Hana just, like, straight up says is like, yeah, no, that sums up this performance in a nutshell. Like, it has serial killer vibes, but Zentona's not as, well, okay. I can't say he's not a serial killer, though we can't confirm if he did kill a bitch, but he probably killed a bitch. But no, it's just so quiet and understated, and just like, why won't you give me the cat? I'll take good care of it, I promise. Give me the cat. Why won't you let me have the cat? Like, it's that level. It's not necessarily like monotone, because he still has some emotion to it, but it's very unsettling.
Extremely. I'm glad you brought up Todoroki, because
Yes.
I don't know. I feel it's like the same type of tone, just the way he spins it is what gets me.
100%. Because Todoroki's vibe is more, in the beginning, it's more vengeful and angry. But then the further we go on, especially when he comes comes to terms with his dad, it's more. It's still very soft spoken, but it's a bit more open minded, and like trying to like find his happiness in a way through all of the pain that he endured. What is it with David Matranga playing these abused children? Like, what the fuck? Now that I'm talking about Todoroki, god damn it.
I have a couple of theories, but I'm not saying it on the internet.
Oh my god. Anyway. But no, David Matranga is very good as Zentono. Freaked me the fuck out.
I would say it's interesting how the story kind of develops with him, because when we meet him in the beginning, he's denied the cat by Biko, or to give it to this gangster who she sees ghost cats floating on him.
Yeah, that was so sweet.
And then at the end of his arc, we find that he has a vet friend who's been secretly taking care of cats for him on the side.
Yep.
Which somehow both of them are played by Brent Mukai.
Oh, yep, Brent Mukai. Yep.
Yeah.
Brent Mukai. That's different. That's like opposite ends of the spectrum with that. Holy crap.
I know, right?
This is good.
It's amazing what they can surprise you with in this show. Uh, Anything else you want to add, Amon? We good to move on?
Yeah, David's creepy in a good way. It does a good job that it makes him seem really menacing before you know what his backstory is. Mm-hmm. And it still works when he suddenly gets a lot more sympathetic, even though David's still playing him pretty much exactly the same the entire time.
Yeah.
It just, it reads as less as, like, menacing and more like, man stunted because of abuse. That's not... Like, I felt bad that I felt I had mean thoughts about him.
I mean, I think that... Which is probably the point, because when he's introduced to the show, he's, like, haunted by all of these, like, dark shadows of, like, all these cats, hence Miko not giving him the cat and giving it to Brett Mukai's character. But then, like, when you actually learn what happened, and she's like, oh, these are the cats that were killed by this other dude, and Tono was trying to save them, but he couldn't make it in time, so these cats just stuck to him. They just stayed with him. And then my heart, and I think this is the part where it kind of made me cry a little bit again, was the hospital. Where after his mom fucking bites the dust again, all of a sudden everything starts getting cleansed. I think when Hana comes, everything gets cleansed, and all of these dark shadows of these cats finally are able to, like, move on. And it's just the sweetest little moment. So.
And I think it's safe to say we can move on to the last section. Let's start with Lindsay Shepard and Yulia.
Can I also just say, because you talked about how you labeled these sections, I have to tell the audience, Jamal labeled the section with the main three girls, "Don't hug me, I'm not that scared." With "not that" in parentheses. Mind you.
There's a good reason for that.
No, there is. I just find it hilarious.
I can say with certain confidence, Lindsay at definitely at certain moments had this kind of gremlin vibe to her, because Yulia is malicious in trying to find out about Miko's power to the point she thinks Miko is stronger than her. And it's ironic I say gremlin vibes, and the first thing that comes to mind is Katie Mills, and Katie Mills is also in this show. But Lindsay manages to play that one-sided rivalry dynamic very well. Because, Miko doesn't really think anything. She just wants to ignore everything that's around her and moves on. But, Yulia literally cannot see the big picture, for one. And for two, she should really learn to back down when it's necessary. I mean, that whole entrapment episode with the tunnel.
Oh, Christ. This girl.
Yeah.
That episode was great. It's great because it has maybe the most, if I understand what it's referencing, the most fucked up ghost by far. And also just her interpreting what she can see wrongly the entire time is one of the best parts of the show.
Yeah, because mind you, while Yulia has the sight, she can't see the big, super scary ones that Miko can see. She only sees the little itty-bitty ones.
Yep. And she cannot see the horror bearing down on her, and Lindsay plays it perfectly. It's really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Lindsay, I feel like, has this naive little charm to her because, like you mentioned, Jamal, like, mostly from the early onset, Yulia comes off as this, not vindictive, but jealous character. Because Miko is the reason why Yulia's quote-unquote mentor, in air quotes, closes shop and disappears into the country. So Yulia's just like, bro, the fuck? Like, who is this person who made my master just flee? And it kind of initially for her kind of starts off as vindictive, but over time she softens up a bit more, and then you learn Yulia hasn't really had the opportunity to have many friends because she's very odd and very different. So her having her first friends in Miko and Hana is actually kind of very fun and sweet.
Yeah. Speaking of sweets,
Oh, Jesus. Hana.
I don't remember what Dubby's set this would have been eligible for.
Somewhere around 2022 Dubbies.
Right,
Yeah.
and I don't remember who I gave my best supporting actor in a comedy award to, and I stand by whatever I did that.
I will find out for you, good sir.
Sarah provides extremely close competition. She is my favorite performance in this show.
Oh, yeah. She's fun.
She is. I was listening to some people talk about a podcast I like called The Thrilling Adventure Hour, and one of them mentioned that during rehearsals they had a character who is the gimmick. It's the early 20th century intellectual writer Dorothy Parker, but what if she was the Incredible Hulk? So
wait, what now?
That. Just don't worry about it. Just run with it. That's not important. And the point that when they were doing rehearsals, the one instruction the director would give her was like dumber. Even dumber. And I feel like Sarah's big instruction was like, no, even more of a Valley Girl. Just like, oh, so like I want you to embody Valley Girlness the way the Frank Zappa song with like actual teenage Valley Girl Moon Unit Zappa rattling off slang embodies Valley Girl. Like just more, bigger.
Oh, I love that. Amon, I have the answer. You had selected Ben Bomacita for Ahad and San that year.
Oh, I can't. Okay, well, all right. Ben is going to keep that.
Almost like I can't take that from him. I can't
Sarah
take
gets my
that.
unofficial, like, just barely not, just about par second place performance. She is so fucking funny.
Amon's like, I can't take that from Ben Bomacita. I can't.
He had my favorite 2 seconds in an anime dub that year. I can't take that away from him. Sarah's great. Look, I'm just saying, if I had watched this at the time, Sarah would have been extremely stiff competition. Like, I would have had to think real hard about that.
Yeah.
She is just a goddamn delight. I would watch a spin-off show that's just her getting into ghost shenanigans she can't see.
Yeah.
Like, I would watch 13 episodes of just that joke over and over and over again. She's that good.
Again, the one episode, one half of the episode where she's in that haunted, abandoned building.
So good.
It was very good.
It's funny you say that, Steph. You own the regular Blu-ray or the limited edition?
I have the LE, but though for this rewatch that I did do Crunchyroll, because my LE set is currently in a box because I haven't finished undoing shelves and stuff. But anyway.
Okay, yes. Well, when you get the chance and you do unbox it, there's a guidebook in it, and it has like a new comic from the mangaka herself.
Okay.
And because I met Sarah Wiedenheft at SuperCon last year, she autographed it for me, and she got spooked by a side comic. It's that same episode, but it's from the ghost's point of view.
Huh.
Now
I want to dig it out. Damn.
Yeah, it's a ton of fun. Anyway, Sarah's Hana. Sarah wields a lot of heft as this character because I don't. Whenever I hear her like being like a little spunky, maybe mildly childish kind of person, it's usually when she's like playing like little younger characters, that kind of thing, like or little smaller characters, like maybe her Ruby from Love Live. I never really seen her play a character that combines personalities of both spunky and slightly childish with a little bit of maturity. Like I say a little bit of maturity. Who am I fooling? I've just never seen her play a character as unique as Hana. Well, maybe except for that one character in Stab Life, but I never finished the Stab Life, and that character had a whole dynamic to her. The point I'm trying to make is the fact that she has to play obliviousness to Miko's antics is quite adoring, to say the least. Go ahead.
The tone of voice that Sarah gives to Hana reminds me of Suika from Dr. Stone.
Yeah.
It's Suika, but Valley Girl. That's what this is.
I was literally thinking Valley Girl, but I was like, no, should I use that term though? Because
Amon did. Amon already opened that can of worms for us, so it's fine.
Dude, those worms yeah, I see some worms crawling on the floor right now. Nah, just kidding.
I'm about to say, you might want to get that cleaned up there, bud.
Mm-hmm. No, this not like the Arte episode. Jesus Christ. That was fun.
Oh, Arte. Oh, roaches. Was that what it was? The cockroach in your room?
Yeah. Well, it wasn't in my room. It was
just somewhere in your house.
It is now my mom's office, so.
It was somewhere in your house. Anyway.
Yeah.
No, Sarah is adorable. She has some of the funniest lines that she gets to say throughout the whole course of the show. Alma mentioned the Annie Leibovitz thing earlier. And then there's the one I mentioned, shake it like it owes me money.
Yeah.
Shake it like it owes me money. Hana has some fun moments.
that is the one part of the show I listened to in Japanese was like surely they didn't reference Annie Leibovitz in the Japanese, but I need to make sure. And like the woman doing Hana in Japanese, she sounds fine. Mm-hmm. Sarah brings so much more to the role. It's so the enthusiasm alone. Yep. It's amazing.
Hana gives off this not necessarily like ditzy vibe, but like
she feels very like she is so sincere.
Yes.
Like there's no subterfuge here with Hana. Hana is the exact person she appears. If you've talked to her for 2 minutes, you know exactly who she is.
100%.
Yeah.
We all probably know a Hana in our lives.
Yes. Oh lordy.
She's so adorable. I have a high metabolism, guys. I'm so hungry. It's very sweet.
Yeah.
And the fact that she knows fucking nothing about what's going on. Not with Miko, not with herself. It's so funny. It makes for some fun moments.
I appreciate that this show found a stupid in-universe justification for why the Big Eater eats so much. That's very amusing to me.
Yep.
Like that's great.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
It's like
she has a high metabolism.
No wonder they say food is fuel.
It is for Hana.
Yeah. Yep. I will say this though. I can't seem to find, because there was an interview they did with the mangaka, and apparently I learned that Hana is his favorite character to write.
Oh, I wonder why.
I wonder why too. Yeah, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Oh, Jesus.
But yeah, that would definitely explain why Hana is tons of fun, and is often why Miko wants to support her, even after, all the antics she kind of pulls. I still remember at the beginning of the first episode when all of a sudden Miko started seeing ghosts, and Hana just turns to her. She's like, are you trying to say you want to go out with me or something? I'm like,
yep.
Yeah.
For Hana, things go over her head half the time. But she also has moments where she just is she comes off as the sweetest, most cheery, but yet insightful person in the room. I'm gonna bring back in Zentono for a second. When they're in the hospital, and freaking Hana and Yulia join, and Hana's like, you made my girl cry. Like, you need to take better care of yourself. Like, she doesn't need that trauma of seeing you die. He's still alive, though. She doesn't need that trauma of seeing you die.
The way Sarah delivered that line is just perfection.
Obviously, I'm paraphrasing the lines themselves, but the point is still there.
Hey, that's okay. Yeah, Sarah is a delight to Hana, and And it's funny because when she autographed my book, she said that she knows about the podcast for one, and she said that she could recognize me from there all of a sudden. I'm like, wait, you can recognize my voice?
Oh boy, Jamal's in trouble. Jamal's in trouble.
To which, hi Sarah. Anyway, let's keep the discussion going because I really want to get to Mieruko-Chan herself.
Oh my god, Miko.
Oh my. I think Alexis is probably one of the finest actresses of our generation because what makes her work in situations like this, especially the comedic situations, yes, she can be very proactive when the situation calls for it, but what makes it work is that she's very reactive.
Yeah.
I think one of my favorite moments to point out is episode 8 when she's trying on the dress in the dressing room and the ghost next to her, she says, "Can you please help me?" And she's like, "Nope."
See, I think Alexis is probably my favorite performance of the show because of Miko's character herself.
Yeah.
Miko as an outward appearance is can be like very subtle, subdued, more quiet. She's not shy, but she's not like full on expressive either. But then when you get her like internal monologue and dealing with all these things, she's like crap. Like she starts like getting more energy. And it's like, oh shit, I'm in trouble. What the fuck do I do? Like it's so fun. And it allows for Alexis to, because if it was just like the outward facing Miko, it would be fine, it'd be decent. But it's the added layer of Miko's internal dialogue and those moments of like, oh shit, I'm fucked. That just that give Alexis a lot more work to like I'm gonna work with, and it makes it a lot more fun to watch.
Oh yeah. And plus, Alexis is pretty much a horror queen. As a matter of fact, right now she's doing a month of horror movies, one movie a day. And I know there were people. She was asking for suggestions from some people, so I know she's very invested. Yeah, I know she's very invested in the genres herself. So probably when this opportunity came up, she couldn't pass it up. And yeah, she definitely makes Miko a very strong character. Like I said, it's more the reactive than the proactive stuff. Yep. Is how she handles that commentary and the fact that it definitely sounds like she's under duress. Like she could make that sound. She could make it sound like that in like any type of situation she's in. That's one of the reasons I brought up Kaguya-sama because Kaguya Shinomiya, she's pretty much the same way. It's just in a comedic aspect as opposed to horror, and maybe bits of slice of life. But she handles that situation very well. Even if it's something like the character doesn't understand, she will make that happen with any character she voices. And I thought is a very strong aspect. I think probably my only regret because I also got to meet her again at SuperCon last year. No, it was Otaku Fest this year. I was too broke and couldn't get her to sign my guidebook, but I know if somebody censored this episode out there or something, I really appreciate you working this show. I mean, she's just fantastic. What more is there to say, She can handle any awkward situation in anime that comes at her. That's all I really have to add. How about you, Amon?
Alexis is great here. I think my favorite part of her performance, I think, is the aspect of Miko's character design that always stands out to me is just how tired she looks all the time. Like she's so exhausted by all of this.
She's seen some shit.
She's got those bags under her eyes, and I feel like Alexis really captures that aspect of just like this again. Like she's scared, but also just like, do I have to deal with this shit all the time? Really? Gotta find it. Yeah. Gotta go get my friend's phone from the creepy head.
Oh my god.
I I appreciate the way they went with her character design because you don't really see characters with yellow eyes that often. I mean, that definitely indicates something's about to go down. Like the first time you see her.
Yeah, and like she I think she just does a very good job of like that just the balance of like she is creeped out, but our reaction to that is to laugh to a certain extent. Like
yeah.
these are not scary scenes necessarily, they are funny scenes, and I think Alexis really does a good job walking that line of making the character feel scared while also letting us have that laugh of her trying to deal with this ridiculous situation that she's found herself trapped in.
I feel like in a way too, it's like how Alexis portrays Miko is also in a way realistic, even though it's comedic. It's in a very realistic way, because like I'm tired all the fucking time lately. But if it's like all of a sudden something happened, and in my brain I'm like, "Fuck me," like like all of a sudden like have like this more overreactive like emotion inside my head, like shit, and then outside I'm just like, yeah, it's fine, it's all good. I feel like Miko can be very relatable in that way.
Yeah, because I feel the same way too sometimes, except it's when I hear certain people speak and then kind of ask me things I am uncomfortable asking. So when, basically, much like Miko, when you put in a situation like that, the best thing you want to do is just ignore it. At least in your
Yep.
mind, that's the best thing you want to do. But
Yep.
yeah, to each their own.
Oh, I ignore a lot of things and eavesdrop on things all the time. it's a fun thing, just eavesdropping and hearing the most random of shit.
Oh yeah.
Yes, I think that having been said, I think we're good to go to final thoughts here. So, what do y'all think of the show?
This show's great. I had a great time watching this show. This is such a delight. Just like I said, I think the show does a good job of feeling. It feels like actually spooky. Like, do you have friends who don't actually like being scared that much? Like, they're not really into horror. Like, that's not a fun experience for them. This is a good like Halloween time show to watch for them because it's creepy and it's spooky, but it's not that scary for the most part. Some of the stuff with Zentono aside. But it is very much something where you can be a little like, you know, shocked by it, but have a good laugh. And I think the dub really captures that aspect of the show really well. Like, this is fun and this is really good for this time of year, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think this show is stupid fun. I loved it the first time I watched it. It was one of those shows where, because I was watching this when I watched this a couple years ago, it was more as one of those shows like, oh, it's on my list of stuff to watch for the W Awards. It's something that it would interest me, and it was just some stupid fun. A lot of it was just stupid fun because I didn't expect it to be, at the time I didn't expect it to be more comedic than what it actually is, and I just got some enjoyment of it. I got to turn my brain off for a little bit and just watch everything go. This go around, paying more attention to some of it. The show itself has its flaws. There are going to be some people who may not like some of the jokes or things with some of the characters that are done with them, and that's fair. It's 100% valid. In terms of the dub, though, the dub is still a lot of fun. Like, I think the main star of this dub, actually, in my opinion, might be the script, because again, it's able to play that fine line between the comedic and sometimes absurd, and then still have these very sweet and heartfelt moments as you're kind of learning along with Miko what it means to be a spirit or be a ghost. And it's it's very interesting how that balances out, and I think that's probably my favorite part of the show is the script itself. But I love the casting. The performances are so much fun. The directing, the writing, and I'm just gonna again mention the mixing on this show. It is just A+. It's not a show for everybody, but if you want some stupid fun for spooky season, I think this is a good one for you.
Yeah, I would add, just to follow up on what Steph was saying. Like, if you're curious what the kind of like sub flavor of horror this is definitely on the kind of like knowingly tacky side. Like,
yes,
it is the kind of show that understands that having a cute girl talk about cream filled butt buns is going to be funny, and if that maybe doesn't sound like your sense of humor, you may not get as much out of the show. That's fine.
Yeah, it's not like campy, but it's not like straight terrifying, like serious suspense kind of deal. It's somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so this is basically a top tier dub from a studio that I really love. Sound cadence, like they could excel at great work even when sometimes they're not always getting the greatest of material. I mean, I love the Full Dive dub. I did not really care for the show, but they managed to do great work regardless. The casting was excellent. Everybody was spot on. We didn't have any issues. The show itself, if you're like me, you kind of have an aversion to horror, or you just want to watch something that with no blood in it, or like you just want to like just turn on some background noise or have a good time or something, this is a show for you. Just be warned, there is some egregious fan service to the point that I realize now that the studio that animated this Passion is probably hornier than Dio Media did on My Girlfriend Is a... Right.
Oh, Christ.
Yeah, there were some moments, and just take that at face value. But, like I said, the dub is worth it. And you'll probably get to hear some people you don't get to hear as often in the show. I mean, I've heard Alfia Yu, I've heard Amelie, I've heard Wendy Powell, Linda Young. You'd be surprised who they got for this show. It is amazing and on point, and it is worth it for you to check out the show yourself. To which, if you want to see Mieruko-Chan, it is available for streaming on Crunchyroll. If you want the home video release, you can buy it wherever you buy your physical media, or at the Crunchyroll store, where right now, at the time of recording, they're running a spooky sale and they're currently sold out. But hopefully it'll be back by the time this episode goes up, which, trust me, it's going to be up very quick.
Yeah, just to give you an idea, the goal is to have this up in time for Halloween next week. So have fun, Jamal.
Yeah.
Oh, I will. As for the material itself, the show is up to as for the show, motherfucker.
The source material?
As for the source material itself, the manga is available wherever you buy your physical manga. It's available digitally on a Google Play Store or iOS Books, or wherever you buy your manga digitally. You better be buying your manga digitally. It's also available at the Crunchyroll store. Mind you, the show is only up to volume 3, so anything beyond that is at your own risk. As for us, what we get.
You should at least check out volume 1, because you get a very funny omake at the end where you find out the guy who draws this has like a wife and 2 children already, which is a little surprising. I always feel like the people who do these are not married.
Huh. Interesting.
Even better, according to him, he had like 2 ideas, and he basically like he basically explained both of them to his wife, and his wife was like, "Yeah, do the one about the girl who can see things. That's the one. Do that one."
Thanks, wifey.
Yeah, exactly. No, he actually in the credits he's one of these guys who does a bit at the end where he credits his staff. He actually credits his wife as just Mieruko-Chan, wife.
That's cute.
That's very cute.
Yeah, as for us, what we get up to, we are the Dub Talk Podcast. We could be found on YouTube under the same name, or if you're an audio listener, we could be found on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean. We also have Ko-fi and Patreon if you want to support us too, which If you pledge a minimum of $5, you can at least get your name read out on the internet. To which we credit Bright Eyes 505, Crimson and Just J2, Kiwa Soup, Marissa Lenti, Megan's mom and dad, and Michelle Travis. But if you pledge $10, you'll get a chance to participate in our quarterly raffle where you can vote on an episode of your choosing. Be warned, please follow rules and regulations in the comments. Hosts are at discretion. To which, in our $10 tier, we have Anthony Brown, Kylie Leistercow, Julia W., Otaku Anthony, and Pika Greg. Thank you so very much. You're all so wonderful people. And speaking of wonderful people, ladies and gentlemen, please plug yourself.
I feel like Amon has to go last for a Dusty Old Song, so I'm going to go first. My name is Stephanie. I'm also sometimes known on the internet as Lilac. You can follow me on socials, Twitter, Blue Sky, all at Lilac Anime Review, review being spelled R-E-V-U-E. I am on TikTok. It's currently at Lilac Anime Game. I'm going to change it to review eventually because it's game right now because I am... At the time of recording this and by the time this is releasing, I'm going to start streaming on my own Twitch channel. My first stream is going to be on my birthday, November 8th. And I'm very, very excited about it. You can follow me over on Twitch at Lilac Anime Review. Again, review being spelled R-E-V-U-E.
Yeah, I'm Jamal, aka Jamstar. You can find me on Twitter and Blue Sky at Jamstar529. YouTube is Jamstar1. I'm assistant editor for the podcast. I still am trying to plan a solo project of my own. Hopefully coming soon. I don't really have much to add except please be mindful that as we venture out of Halloween, there are other holidays coming up besides Christmas, so don't you dare defrost that Padaru. Mariah Carey said we ain't ready for that yet.
No, Mariah, you can't stop Mariah Carey, bitch. You cannot stop the full force of Mariah Carey.
No, she's the one that says. No, she's the one that says we're not ready. We're not ready for that yet. Please do not defrost the Mariah either. So. Anyway, speaking of music artists and music, Amon, where can we find you?
You can mostly find me on Twitter and Blue Sky as AmonDuel US. Duel has 2 U's in it. I'm also potentially thinking about starting my blog up again, which I know I've made that promise a lot and it never actually happens. But if I don't get stymied by the fact that I actually feel the need to do research, and that might take time, and most of what I want to learn probably is not actually in English. Hopefully I'll post something on there soonish. But if you can find me on social medias in the time being, and I talk about movies and comic books and garbage like that, and music. And I have a dusty old song for you.
Yay!
My dusty old song for you tonight is If You Have Ghosts by Ghost. Because it's a great song. 2, Ghost are a great band. They make great Halloween time music. And I also, if you want a bonus song, I recommend that song is a cover. The original is by the great late Texan rock musician Rocky Erickson, formerly the 13th Floor Elevators. His is also very good. I'm recommending the Ghost one only because it is a little more... I put this way, the Ghost version is about ghosts. The Rocky Erickson version is about ghosts, and by ghosts I mean persistent mental illness, essentially. Because a lot of his songs are about mental illness in one way or another. It's great though. It's just very, very Texan because he's from Texas, which may be appropriate for our Texas dub here tonight. So check those out; they're great.
So as we end the night here, from all of us here at Dub Talk, we wish you a good night, otaku on, and keep on haunting.
Happy Halloween!
Rock over Boston, rock on. Rock over Boston, rock on Chicago, be spooky.
There's a weird noise coming from my walls. What is that?
I'm sorry, it's in my head again.
Oh no, earworms, the scariest thing of all.
Earworms!
Oh,
Rose
shit.
and Bruno Mars are coming to invade me. Help.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.